What is going on, YouTube? PPS here. Pass the prop. Coming back to you guys. Monday Night Football edition. Obviously, going to be talking about how we did this past week, how the bets went, how the games went. Week one takeaways, fantasy best ball stuff. We're here, ready for it again. Joined as always by my guys, too. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Obviously, week one of football finally back. Like I said, I've been kind of under the weather this whole time, but this, just this raw energy in here. Everyone's so fired up. Everyone's so happy. That's been carrying me through. And I really enjoyed week one of the NFL. We obviously had a lot of good action. Now we have a lot to learn from, right? We just saw these games. Now we have to do our best in like 3 days to try to learn everything that just happened and then guess what the coaches are going to try to fix as well, because that's exactly what the coaches are doing right now, too. They're looking at every single mistake they made and seeing how they can fix it. So super pumped for week two. I truly think week 2 to week 5 is kind of where the money really gets made, right? It's where you make those snap decisions. You pick up on things that no one else is picking up on. The sports books, maybe underrate a guy, something like that. I think these are kind of the prime weeks, and I'm super pumped to be getting into it.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, this could be like a recap from week one. Obviously, talking about our bets there. We can talk about our Sunday bets here first. We got 10 of you guys in here in the first couple minutes. We appreciate you guys, and we'll go over our Sunday bets here. Obviously, talked about Fridays already on our last show. So let's get to it. I do not know. Did this hit? I didn't even.
Yep. Very, very close. Very close. 59 yards. Very, very close. But Brian Robinson got the job done, thankfully.
Okay, and Olave ended up with 100 yards, and then Jordan Love, man, showing out, baby, showing out. A lot of people were questioning that one. I had a couple comments on it, and I'm like, bro, come on now. It's the fucking Bears. Come on. You're not going to think that their defense is just going to flip overnight, do you? Come on.
Yeah, even though Watson, too, the number one target is out, and Love still cooks these guys. Didn't even, it looked like that was their number one offense out there as well. So definitely an impressive showing from the Packers, game one.
Yeah, and I mean, he could have had another one. Musgrave fell, right? I mean, Musgrave had a 50-yard touchdown, and I'm like, bro, that would have – my best ball is about 45% Musgrave, bro. I am so heavily involved in Musgrave and Jaden Reed before everybody else decided they were going to be Jaden Reed fans. Like I said, I think I had 100% for my first 5 because his ADP was so low. And then the preseason game came, and it's like, oh, shit, this guy's good. I should draft him. And then I'm like, oh, we're not. So I'm around 50% on both, 50% Laporta too as well. So, yeah, that one really hurt me. And I'm like, if you're going to fall, get the touchdown or give it to Jaden Reed. And then obviously they don't do it. So it was tough. Really, yeah, that one hurt quite a bit. So let's go through. Obviously, I think we were 2-0 on Sunday. And then that Chiefs game, bro, that one was just oof. Not the greatest. I think we were 0.2. I think minus 0.02 on juice out. Just because we had the plus money on this one to go along with the minus 110 on the longest completion, dude. What about that Chiefs game, man? That shit was gross.
Yeah, no, all those drops were absolutely crazy. That was the highlight of the game, it felt like. Kadarius Toney, I mean, Sky Moore fantasy owners probably just turned it off at halftime and went to sleep because that is disgusting. Luckily, I have 0% Sky Moore in best ball just because he was going so high. I was just taking Richie James at the very end, which I obviously feel a little bit better about, even though he had those drops as well, right? So I guess the real answer is Kelsey. Are we getting Kelsey back in week 2? Because if we are, then I'm back on board with the Chiefs. I suddenly kind of like them again against this Jaguars team. But that'll be an interesting matchup. That'll be one of the most fun, hyped up matchups of the week. But yeah, definitely not a great start for the Chiefs. But I'm also not in panic mode. We got to remember the Chiefs over these last couple of years, it feels like they take the regular season like it's the preseason, to be honest, at the very beginning. This is a team that knows they have championship ambitions, and they really never come out with the full playbook unleashed until a little bit later in the year. Not to say that's why they lost. The Lions played a good game, but I'm also not overly impressed with the Lions as well. They played a kind of ugly game. Their defense didn't look great. They were letting these guys get open, right? And then they were getting some interception on tip passes. Is that going to happen every week for the Lions? I'm not so sure. So definitely a lot to learn in that game. But I don't know. I think people are hating on the Chiefs a little too much, especially if Kelsey's coming back.
Yeah, no, it was tough. And I posted a question in here before the thing started there. I don't know how your fantasy did. I don't think we talked. I got so lucky, bro. I had Sky Moore, obviously, with .04. I had Antonio Gibson with .09. And I had my kicker get me 3. So in there, I got 4 points. And I should still win. I am up 36. And I got Josh Allen. They got James Cook, Delvin Cook, and Diggs. And we're in a 6-point boosted quarterback league. So if you pass for a touchdown, it's 6 points. So I'm sitting at like 80% chance. I just can't believe it with the lineup I put out there, man. But Lamar Jackson, the killer of everybody. I know a lot of people. He was like 15% on DFS in the lineups I was in. But shout out Tyreek, baby. That man carried me. I'm sure carried every single person who played him into a W in week 1.
Yeah, no, I just had to check the fantasy lineup. We're sitting good week 1. Barely scraped off a W. Luckily, I'm going against Saquon, right? So that was kind of nice, getting the big 0 for me. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's in my Discord, you saw I'm down Cup, I'm down Taylor, I'm down Brees Hall, I'm down Christian Watson. I'm down a lot of guys week 1. So Gibson almost killed me. I have Gibson starting as well. Luckily, the last minute plug-in of Jordan Addison saved me. I was talking myself out of Addison. I was thinking he's a rookie. It might take a little bit. Maybe I play Isaiah Likely over him on that, right? No Mark Andrews. We saw what you put up. I almost did it. Last minute, I stayed in on Jordan Addison, and that luckily saved my week right there. But yeah, team's not looking great. Mike Williams going down as well. My IR is absolutely insane for this point in the season.
Yeah, Mike Williams back, though. He came back in the second half.
True.
Really helped me. I'm going to win in my other league with – well, I should win, right? I'm up 5, and I have Gabe Davis, and they got Dalton Kincaid there. But this is a half-point PPR league, so it's tough to score unless you're getting touchdowns. And my team did terrible. I have Joe Burrow in 2 out of my 3 big leagues. That's fun. That was awful, just a terrible showing. But Nick Chubb, dude, don't matter. Rain, snow, tornado, bro. Nick Chubb going to get you 100, and he's just unreliable, baby. 110. 4 catches. This man is a beast, dude. I'm telling you. I love the exposure I have. My best ball ones are starting out pretty well. Just obviously really wish Burrow would have played better.
The receiving game worked crazy, right? We talked about in the offseason, Chubb has always been an absolute stud, right? And now we're no competition, no Kareem Hunt, no nothing. It's suddenly like he's the pass catching back as well. And we saw 4 catches already in a positive game script. There was no need for him to get those late game checkdowns, maybe the 2-minute drill, you're rushing kind of checkdowns that we love for running backs. So, yeah, Nick Chubb's fantasy ceiling is absolutely insane this season. I'm glad we're already seeing that in week 1. And, yeah, only bummer, he didn't get me a touchdown, man. I know I don't complain about prize picks too often, but I'm writing a weekly prize picks article. I probably lost a couple $100 just having Chubb touchdown autoplay in all my picks because it's minus 180 on books. And prize picks almost never lets you get guys that are minus 180, minus 190. So I was hammering that touchdown line. And then we're up 24-0. I'm thinking this is easy. Chubb's probably got 3 by this point because obviously I was not watching that game. And that was, a little bit of a bummer. But hey, besides that, shout out Nick Chubb. You'll have to get it back for me next week, buddy.
Yeah, we'll go through the chat, and then I'm going to have your biggest takeaway from week 1 before we head into props. Obviously, our Monday show, it is not as long as our Friday show, guys. Our Friday show usually pushes that hour mark. We're trying to be 30, 35 max here, so we'll get into our biggest takeaway. But let's take a look at the chat here. We got Steve in here, first guy. Hope all is well, my friend. Thank you for joining us today. Go Pack, go. You know it. You already know. I was pretty hyped in that game, dude. Give me more Jaden Reed, baby. Give me more fucking – I was scared, dude. He hurt his knee, and I'm like, dude, I hope he's okay. Luckily, he's fine and nothing there, and got me nervous then. Got the W without Kelsey. I'm assuming that's a fantasy game. So good job. Hopefully you keep it going there. J Love for MVP. I'm gonna keep my reins back. 3 touchdown passes though. All I'm saying is my takeaway is gonna be coming up in that a little bit here. Lost my fantasy league, so Burrow Lamar combined for 10.5. Funny thing is, I have 2 out of 3 leagues with Burrow. Both the leagues I had Burrow, I played Lamar, so I didn't get killed. Thank God. Thank God. And the other one I played against Trevor Lawrence, who they just turned it off in the second half, or at least the fantasy points did not come up as quick like they did in that first one there. And I guess there's a question we can start it out here. What's your thoughts on Zay Flowers? I don't think it's going to be that much with Mark Andrews, bro, because, man, I mean, how are you going to take that and try to run with it, dude? I can't think that Zay Flowers is getting that many targets.
Yeah, I mean, what was Zay Flowers' ADOT? Was it 2 or something
Yeah,
like
it
that?
was, and he just
2.4?
broke so many
Yeah.
tackles.
Exactly, which is very interesting because I saw some people saying that that's how he was going to be used by the Ravens. But if you looked at Boston College, he was a downfield guy, right? But the thing that we noticed about Zay Flowers is he's got NFL twitch. He's got NFL athleticism. If you can make a guy miss on the outside like Zay Flowers can, you're an NFL wide receiver. So I was very impressed with the preseason and the training camp. To see what he did in game 1 was obviously super impressive. But like you said, he's a rookie. We're going to expect some regression right here. Mark Andrews, absolute target hog, is going to be coming back and entering that offense. I think Flowers will be productive, but you're going to have to be betting on him to break a big play, right? He's the kind of guy he's going to be very boom or bust over these next couple weeks. But super impressed with what I've seen before. The kid is legit. If you have him on your team, you should be very, very happy. It's just going to be a little bit of a tougher choice early in the season when Mark Andrews is back and Rashad Bateman is still over there, and this team could run a little bit more than people think. I know everyone in the world now is invested on them passing 500 times a game. You lose J.K. Dobbins. It'll be interesting to see how they adapt to that. But I would agree. Flowers is in a good spot right now. And who's the matchup? Who are the Ravens? It's the Bengals, right? Is that who they play?
I think so. I don't know. I didn't look too much into.
Yeah, I think it's the Bengals. So that's a good spot, obviously.
But I mean, it's tough because you can't really go yet because you haven't had Andrews in there with him, right? And you haven't had it without J.K. Dobbins. So it's like,
yeah.
You can, it's a toss-up, man. You're losing a guy who has obviously a decent amount of usage. You got a guy here who's a target hog, like you said. So I think they're going to obviously want to get him the ball. He showed why. So I don't think he's going to be sitting on too many benches, too many more times here, heading into here. I don't like even. I don't think I have any Ravens running backs ever. I never draft them. I only ever draft Lamar Jackson just because touchdown equity on the goal line. I just usually touch it there. But yeah, Justice Hill took him. Thank God for me in fantasy, man, because if Lamar runs those in, I'm probably dead meat. So I usually don't. I don't know. Do you have a thought on those? I don't touch any Ravens running backs like ever. So.
Yeah, Gus is one of my most owned best ball players. I was kind of getting away from that position towards the end of the year because of what you said. Hill looked really good in preseason, and then he instantly comes in and steals those touchdowns. Both of these guys have been in the system for a while. Dobbins, the thing is, he gives you a real safe floor. So if your team is in trouble, I think Dobbins is a real safe option. But if your team's not in trouble, not Dobbins. Edwards is going to give you like 8 points a lot. You know, he's going to run the ball. He doesn't catch passes. So you're really solely depending on touchdown equity. And guess what? We saw Hill take those touchdowns. We know Lamar Jackson can take those touchdowns. And now Mark Andrews can take those touchdowns. So for me, I'm going to be trying to avoid starting Gus Edwards, even though I do have a lot of him, especially in best ball. I think we need to see how this rushing usage plays out for a couple weeks, or at least 1 week, before I can fully give you confidence to play Edwards. But right now, he's touchdown dependent. And I don't love the upside of the touchdowns with Hill and Jackson both there.
Yeah, let's get into our biggest takeaway. What was your biggest takeaway from week 1? I know there's probably a lot. I mean, you can go into pretty much anything. Anything that stuck out to you week 1 here before we get into our props for tonight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll quickly hit my Commanders. They suck. Unfortunate, playing that poorly.
So bad.
Yeah, if you didn't watch that game, which I don't blame you, it might look a little bit better in the box score, but that was awful. We should have lost that game. Brian Robinson receiving yards in the future is a move right there. I'll hint that. But beyond my shitty team, the Dolphins, man, I was so curious to see how the Dolphins would do. I was against them. I was on the Chargers this week pretty heavy. I like the 3-point favorite right there. We saw how they held Tua last year. We saw their game plan was awesome against them. They were the team that initially kind of brought in that whole, the press defense on Tyreek, right? They were pressing him off the line of scrimmage. Whoa, that's a crazy idea. No one's done this before. Clearly, Miami came back this year with a game plan. They looked awesome out there. It further confirmed that McDaniel is an up-and-comer, is one of the best play callers in the league. I love the way this offense works. It's so unique. It's so different. Going for it on 4th and 7 on their own 40 without even thinking about it in the first half. That's how the Dolphins play football. I love that. If that's how you play football, I love it. I hope to see more of it. The real question is, how do they deal with now a smash and mouth team in the Patriots next week, right? They beat a finesse team in the Chargers. I was super impressed by that. Obviously, the Chargers had a great game plan for him last year, so to be able to adapt to that was super impressive. Tua made some great throws out there. Best quarterback in week 1. Curious how he does against a very tough defense in week 2, but the Dolphins were my biggest takeaway. Huge game, very impressive, especially for Tua.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna talk about my Packers specifically, but I'm gonna talk about the NFC North there. I don't know why everybody was so high on the Vikings coming into the season. I really don't. And everybody was super high on the Bears too. At least that's what I'm seeing on Twitter. Like everybody was taking their win totals. That Vikings offensive line is atrocious. It's been the biggest issue with them. They cannot run the football. And I know everybody's going to talk about like Rashad White and Sean Tucker. Everybody like talking about them. Both, dude, they sucked. They both did not do anything, right? Rashad White, I think, was like the second or third worst in terms of rushing yards gained. Like actually, like when you have to make somebody miss, he did not make anybody miss. He got his catches like he usually does, but both of them didn't do much. They had Baker Mayfield just cook them, bro. And he missed on plays. Like there was a play in the first half that should have been a touchdown. And all he had to do was put it in his chest, miss high. I give it to him. He's not playing as a starter much, but he looked good in the second half. Shout out Baker Mayfield for cashing that ticket for your boy, even when they were winning. And then that Bears offensive line, dude, Justin Fields is that running back, bro. Everybody said he's going to be throwing the ball. DJ Moore this, DJ Moore that. Come on now. He's not just going to flip like that. And that's the same thing. Like the Vikings won how many one-score games last year? Those games could have flipped just like this last one here. So I'm just kind of like tampering my expectations on these. Obviously, I'm not out here yelling the Packers are going to win a goddamn Super Bowl because I don't think that's going to happen. But just off of week one, seeing Tampa dominate that front line, that's scary. Watching the Packers just dominate the front line of the Bears, that's scary. I think the San Francisco 49ers looked unreal, bro. They're going to be tough. I think those would be my biggest takeaways. It's kind of all those people that were getting hyped up, right? The Bears, the Vikings, they were getting hyped up in the NFC, or at least their win totals were. And nobody's really talking about the Niners, dude. They were just sitting over there chilling, and they just come out and punch them in the mouth. Steelers just get absolutely dude, that was so bad. Shout out Niners, 49ers defense coming through for your boy again. Having them in every league except for one because my fiance drafted them like 4 rounds before anybody else. She drafted the 2 guys I take, which is Tucker and San Francisco. Took them 4 rounds. She's like, oh, I got to finish my starting lineup. No, you don't just do that that's not how this works. So I didn't end up getting them in that league, but fuck, dude, I was so pissed because I have Tucker and the Niners defense in every other league. And that one I ended up getting Dallas, so I'll take it. Dallas scored me like 37 points last night. Giants might be heading to the Canada Football League here soon.
Yeah, no, shout out to anyone that had the free win, the cheat code of the Dallas defense this week. I'm very glad I didn't have to run up against that. But no, I agree with a lot of what you said. The only part where I was really against you is I was coming to the year higher on the Vikings as well. I mean, I thought the Lions would win that division, but the Vikings were my number 2 pick and my favorite future, right? I have a little bit of a 340 ticket on them to win the division just because that number seems so crazy to me. A team like the Bears higher than them because we had the same thought on the Bears. And I want to say, too, everyone on Twitter is now victory lapping the Justin Fields is bad. Where were you guys a month ago? Where were you guys on video, right? We were here on video. Exactly. We were here speaking
My fans is right here
on the camera saying these things. And now all these anonymous Twitter accounts that I've never heard of are suddenly victory lapping their amazing takes. Like this guy wasn't like 10-1 to win MVP at some point. Like get out of here. There's no way all these people coming out of the woodworks were so anti-Fields. We were on the show. We set it up here, especially – I'd like to point out the offensive line, the number one thing I called out was McGlinchey. They hired a run blocking guy to help their pass defense, and he got torched by Crosby. If you don't even have to watch the full game, just watch the highlights. This guy's getting destroyed out there. I don't know what the Bears were thinking. Obviously, if you drafted DJ Moore as like the 5th overall pick, good luck this season. 25 yards, you're going to be seeing a lot of that this year.
Yeah, I mean, I had no exposure. I have a little bit of Fields in best ball, maybe like 8%, but yeah, I'm chilling. The only guy I had is your boy, Rashawn Johnson. Give that man the ball, baby. That dude's a fucking tank. He just ran through everybody. Comes in for like 3 series in the Bears score. It's like, oh, maybe that should happen, right? Khalil Herbert can be your dump-off guy. This dude is running straight through DBs. This dude literally trucked a DB. The DB got pissed, and then he got another 15 yards for getting pissed, right? So I'm like, why is this man not touching the ball till the 3rd quarter? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. So, all right, week 1 out of the way. We got through our recap, got through all that stuff. We're on to Monday Night Football here, guys. Obviously, Bills, Jets, a little soft in my heart here for Rodgers, but obviously Jordan Love making that a little bit easier for your boy. The total is moving down as we speak. It's at 45, was at 45.5, moving down. Bills have stuck around that 2-point favorite, minus 130 on the money line here. Stu, I thought weather would be a little bit more of an issue. Rain is coming around 6 there, it said. But by game time should be good, mid-70s. Not the usual spot that we see the snow and stuff in a lot of these games with these two teams. Just looking at the straight line here, we can look at the money line and the total. Any of those catching your eye before we get into props?
Yeah, for me, it's a lean on the under. Like you mentioned, it's coming down for good reason, even without the weather. Obviously, the Jets, one of the best defenses in the league, and the Bills, a very solid unit. Obviously, they get into a lot of these kind of high-scoring games. The biggest concern is no Von Miller, right? When you look at the stats with pressure rate with and without him last season, that was a big deal. And as you know, as a longtime Packer fan, you got to get that pressure on Aaron Rodgers. You can't let him have all the time in the world. Otherwise, he's going to make things happen. So for me, I've been back and forth all week. I think I started the week on the Bills. I like that side. But as I thought more and more about what defenses I thought would be truly game-breaking this year, there were two that stuck out. It was Dallas, number 1, which we obviously saw last night, and it was the Jets, number 2. With how insanely deep this unit is, it's hard not to have faith in them, right? I mean, this is a good unit without the back-to-back first-round pass rushers that they've drafted in back-to-back years now, right? I really think this is a team that can rotate all 3 downs, all 4 downs, play great football. Their cornerback room is extremely deep outside of Sauce Gardner, DJ Wilson, probably one of the most underrated corners in the league out there as well. It's a tough time if you're a Bills fan, right? I would be a little bit worried coming in here. The real question is just how does a guy like Aaron Rodgers kind of adapt to this new offense? How does this team put everything together? So for that reason, I'm kind of out on the spread. You know, it's very tough for me to pick a side. I'll just say I started out on the Bills side, and the more and more I read, I've kind of leaned over to be a little bit of a Jets supporter in this one. So if I had to pick, gun to my head, I think I'll take the Jets right now. But yeah, very close game, and I'll lean to the under as well.
Yeah, no, I don't mind that. I'm very. I said to you, dude, if I didn't bet props as much as I do, like almost all exclusive props, I would have no bets in this game. I don't think there's a spot I like. 45 seems fair, right? Defenses are good, offenses are good. Really, really hard for me to pick a side in this game. I'm more worried about that Jets offensive line, which is why I might lean towards the under. I've been talking about it all year, bro. I've been talking about it since Rodgers went there. Weapons are nice. Everything around him is nice. That defense is phenomenal. But Rodgers ain't running around, dude. Even last year, he barely ran around because, I don't know if you watched the Packer game, the Packers offensive line, top 5 in football. They let you sit back there, right? They just let you sit back there. You have a clean pocket. If you can move, a little bit outside the tackles, you're fine. This is where I'm worried about. Obviously, that Von Miller injury is huge, and not playing here is huge. If he was playing, I might actually just bet the Bills because I don't think that they are going to be able to stop the pass rush this year. This might not be the spot that I would want to take it, but I just don't see. Everybody's saying that Rodgers is going to do so good here, but he's at a top line. Nobody talks about that. They talk about not getting first round weapons. We've been getting offensive linemen, dude. The offensive line is so good. If you're able to run the football and do all that, I'm curious to see first time in a long time that he hasn't had a really good offensive line, at least in pass blocking. So this is gonna be a fun game. I think it's just gonna be a smash mouth football. It should be a fun game to watch as like a guy who enjoys watching good football, right? Obviously, anybody want to watch the Chargers in Miami. Still good football, high scoring, but this is going to be smash mouth. This will be fun football, and I'm really excited to watch these two teams go at it. I have no bet on the spread or the under or over. Like I said, if Von Miller was playing, I'd probably bet the Bills because I want to see this Jets line hold up, and I just don't know if they will.
Yeah, no, I think you killed that. I kind of agree almost. If Von Miller was in there, I'd feel much better about the Bills. I mean, the pressure rate numbers last year with and without him kind of speak for themselves right there. So, yeah, I don't know. It'll be a good game. And I think the guy you want to be looking at, even if you're not like a tape guy or whatever, look for Mekhi Becton, former number 1 overall pick. He's the guy that jumped out of the pool, if you remember, that did the full jump out the pool. Amazing start to his career, and then we haven't heard anything from him. Injuries, personal issues, attitude issues. This is a huge right? This is a first-round pick, an absolute tank out there. If he's playing the way he was in those first couple of games of his rookie year, then this offensive line could be a lot better than we expect. But given the fact that what we've read in camp, there have been some questions, it hasn't looked so good. It could be the exact opposite, like you said, and Aaron Rodgers could be in a real tough spot. So there might be some live betting opportunities, but I agree. This will be a good information game. I think we're going to learn a lot about both these two teams.
Yeah, and you don't just because it's prime time doesn't mean you got to throw hammers on it, right? Like that's what I said to you, Stu, off camera. It's just like this is a tough game to bet on because these are division rivals right away, and that's what's cool. The NFL doing that first week. But Stu, got 50 people in here, 25 minutes in. Hit that like button, guys. Bets are coming. Stu's taking us away here on our first bet of the day. 50 you guys. Let's get those likes up here. Let's do it.
Sounds good. I'm going to be going with Dalton Kincaid over 2.5 receptions, -110 over on DK. This is one of my favorite spots I've been waiting to talk about all week long. Obviously, a rookie tight end can always be one of the more interesting matchups in general, right? These guys tend to, get a little bit involved later into the season. But I have to say, I've been impressed with what I've seen from rookie tight ends across the board this year. Guys with a lot worse draft capital than Kincaid, right? We've seen Laporta, like you mentioned, obviously step up with over 6 targets. We saw a guy like Musgrave step up and have a good game. And like you said, that's with the fact that he looks like he doesn't know how to catch a football. Like he's doing everything else really well until you actually have to catch it. And then the guy looked absolutely lost. But seeing these rookie tight ends that we read about all camp, look how involved, look at all these unique routes they're running. To see them actually come out and do that has given me a little bit more confidence right here. And what I like about Kincaid, if you read my Josh Allen analysis from the beginning of the week on Twitter, that was one of my first picks of the week. What I really think about this game is I think it's going to be very tough for the Bills to consistently move the ball against this Jets defense. And I think with the way their offense has been structured over the last couple of years, I think Kincaid is a big solution to that, right? Over last year, we saw on the outside Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs, same wide receivers out there. Sauce Gardner held Stephon Diggs to only 8 catches over the course of 2 games. We saw that matchup. We saw how strong he was on the outside over there. Gabe Davis did not have the most impressive showings either, and that's because this is one of the most talented secondaries in the league. Last year, the Jets defense allowed less receiving yards than any other team, right? We saw the highest portion of fantasy points come from every other position against the Jets than the wide receiver. They were the least targeted wide receiver group in the league last year, and tight ends had the highest completion percentage in the league last season against this Jets defense. Shout out Prop Bomb for that stat. He texted me that this morning. But what I really like is I really like the kind of puzzle piece aspect of this. What problem does Dalton Kincaid solve? For me, it's the short and intermediate game. That is the piece that's missing. When you think, how are you going to analyze this game? With Stephon Diggs having such a tough matchup on the outside, with a guy like Gabe Davis, depending on that 14, 15, 16-yard ADOT, right? He's a downfield receiver. Those are later developing routes. What does Josh Allen do in the intermediate? How do they get these slow developing plays? How do they move the ball down the field without those big plays? That's the question that the Bills have been trying to answer for the last 2 seasons. And that's why they traded up for a guy like Dalton Kincaid. He's a tight end. I know when you read it, you go, whoa, tight end, what's going on? This guy's a wide receiver. He's a tight end in only name, similar to what we've seen Evan Ingram, Mike Gesicki. He's going to be blocking about 3 to 4 times per game, right? This guy solely played wide receiver at Utah. He's going to play a shit ton of wide receiver here, and that's why they're going to these 2 tight end personnel sets so that they can have Dawson Knox, who's more of that brawler on the inside, serving as a pass protector, serving as a run protector. And then we're going to see Dalton Kincaid as a mega slot, as a super mismatch for these cornerbacks and safeties out there. What I really like about Josh Allen, I said the stat to PPS, he kind of laughed at me before the show started right here. When we look at when Josh Allen was at his best in the 2020 season, a dependable safety blanket like Cole Beasley was one of the biggest reasons why. I know we laugh at a name like Cole Beasley right now, but we got to remember that's a guy that was flirting with 1,000-yard seasons pretty much every year of his career. And actually, Josh Allen was throwing in the short and intermediate under 10 yards at the 5th highest rate in the league. Josh Allen was completing passes at the 5th highest rate in the league in 10 yards or under. I know, Josh Allen, the guy that only throws 40-yard bombs, he was at his best by pretty much every advanced stat when he had that safety blanket in the slot. And look what they've tried to do over these last couple of years. Drafted a guy in Khalil Shakur. They got Jamison Crowder to an overpaid contract. They got Isaiah McKenzie to an overpaid contract. They've been trying to address this for the last couple of years. How can we get him that safety blanket? How can we get him that slot receiver target? They finally addressed it. They were worried Kincaid was going to go earlier in the draft. They traded up for him. They want that mega slot. They want that safety blanket for him right there. Everything we've read in training camp has been great. Apparently, guy hasn't dropped the pass yet. I know we love to get rookies hyped up. Having those dependable hands, showing out for your quarterback in training camp is huge. I think they're going to go to him early. I know it's a little bit scary trusting a rookie in their first game ever, but I think this is one of those 2.5 lines that we're never going to see again. I think 3.5 is going to be the lowest we might ever get this guy in the future. This offense is too good. I know it's a tough target right here, but we got to remember the Jets funnel these targets to tight ends because their outside corners are very, very good. So I know it's a little bit risky. Hopefully all those words I just said at you convinced you a little bit. I love Kincaid this week. I think he's in store for a huge debut.
Yeah, no, and I'm not even laughing at the when we were talking. I wasn't even really laughing at the like numbers and stuff. I'm laughing at like Cole Beasley and Kincaid are so different. It's like crazy. Like the cone, like if you would do a cone combine, Cole Beasley's done with that while the other dude's coming around, right? I know he's a great route runner. I've watched him in college. I watch a lot of college football. I watch him play. He's nice. I'm just saying, like, if you're going to have a defensive line like this, man, I understand the dump offs and stuff. I just think he's going to have to help. I think he's going to have to actually try and keep these defensive linemen from just destroying Josh Allen and getting into those longer plays, which I think is going to be happening here because it's going to be such a big pass rush. And that's why I am going with Gabe Davis here over longest reception. And I would not take Gabe Davis receptions. I would not take him anything else. I'm telling you right now, I am only taking longest reception here because we have seen how good Josh Allen is at extending plays, right? And I think that's going to be what's going to happen tonight. I think they're going to have so many designed runs. I don't expect Josh Allen to try and, do it with his legs all the time because they're going to probably have 10 to 12 designed runs in this spot just to get this defensive line tired because they're going to be ears pinned back trying to take them out, especially because I don't even really know if you consider any James Cook a running back, man. He's going to be more of those dump offs, right? That's what I expect from him. I don't expect him running between the tackles. I think Damian Harris is a fantastic pickup. I love him. I have him in a ton of best ball. I'm hoping he gets those 1-yard runs. But I think that they're going to have to push this ball down the field a couple times here, or else this Jets defense is going to absolutely just destroy this front line for the Bills. What I do like, and I talked to you about it already earlier, 14.4 air yards per catch. Obviously, that is phenomenal. You look at his combine numbers, the dude's at 36-inch vert, 6'2", dude's quick. And then obviously we go into the advanced metric. You go into any of those, right? This dude is unreal in terms of like these numbers. Like if you want to go into, air yards, right? Air yards, 14.4, like I said. You go into catchable balls and all that stuff. He's right towards the top, 50-50 balls. But what I really do like is them talking about how injured he was last year. I think we're getting such a when we bet Gabe Davis 2 years ago, right? This was sitting like 23 to 24 every game. And if what they're saying in training camp about him actually being healthy, you remember the Chiefs game, everybody does. This dude was open every single time. I'm not saying that the Chiefs secondary is anywhere close to the Jets secondary. Jets is obviously phenomenal, but I think we're getting a really good recency bias price going off of how shitty he was last year. But if all of this is true, saying he's as healthy as he's ever been, you saw him last year, he couldn't get any separation. And if that is because of an injury, I think that we're never going to see this one again. Same thing as Kincaid. We might never even see a Gabe Davis below 24.5. Same thing with Kincaid. If he goes off today, we might not see a 3.5, 4.5. We might be seeing juiced under on a 4 or 5.5, So I'm just looking at this as we've seen what he does. He has one job on this team. His yak is good. If he does get like a slant across the middle, Steph Diggs is getting sauce. They're not trying to throw him the deep ball. And I'm not trusting Shakur with the deep ball with this defense. So give your best 50-50 ball guy here in those deep chances just so you can get Kincaid. You can get Diggs a little bit less pressure in that, 10 to 12-yard spot. You got to send Gabe Davis probably on 50 or 60 fly routes. Hey, throw like one or two of them down there and see what happens. Obviously, one of the best arms in football in Josh Allen. So it just works well. I really like this spot. And I know everybody's going to talk about the Jets defense, and rightfully so. But one of the best impromptu quarterbacks here in Josh Allen. I'm going to be rolling with Gabe Davis here, longest reception.
Well, and when you told me you played this too, I didn't know what the number was. I was surprised when you put that 20.5 up. You know me, I love this market. This guy's not been under 24.5 in like a year and a half, right? This is like a 4-point move. And I know we just talked about how good that defense is, but I mean, to kind of make everything I said true, right? To have that short and intermediate game, you need to take shots. And this team knows that. They take more shots than almost anyone in the league downfield. And Gabe Davis is so clearly that guy in this offense. 21-yard catch isn't even like impressive for Gabe Davis. That's like a regular catch. You know what I mean? Like that's a very surprising number to see right here. And even though I do think that they're going to struggle against this line, you only need one play with the longest reception. That's why we love it so much. You need one opportunity. Like you mentioned, Sauce is going to be on Diggs. It's going to be a very tough matchup over there for him. I do like the potential for this one. Like you said, Josh Allen is unbelievable off script. One of the best off script players in the league, can make things happen out of thin air. That's what you want here. That's what you want him scrambling out the pocket, finding Davis down the field. And you mentioned how injured Davis was. Allen was injured last year too, right? This is a guy that lives on the deep ball. Allen fucked up his elbow for the last 8 weeks of the year and was throwing every ball 10 yards short. So now that both of these guys are healthy and on the same page, I kind of agree with you. This is another one of those numbers that I'd be surprised, even if he misses, right? I think we're going to see the 30-yard pass. We're going to see the 40-yard pass. It's just about whether he can actually make it happen or not.
Yeah, before we get into a little bit more on this spot, we got 51 of you guys in here live, 11 likes. Let's get that 20, 25. Let's get it up there a little bit. Hit that like button. Obviously, we want to get some more winners out here for you guys. But, yeah, this is always, like I said, we talked about Rodgers already here. How many of those plays went to Devontae just 50 yards on the field just because he's rolling out of the pocket and you have those guys who are good at getting open in those weird spots like that? I seriously don't think I've ever seen Gabe Davis lower than 24.5, ever. And I think that's just because I've seen you be betting on these a lot, right? On the longest receptions in that as well. But I'm going to bring up last night's game because I was on Pollard longest rush, 15.5. And I had Saquon at 50 yards in a parlay there, comboed with CeeDee Lamb. If you go to sleep like everybody else does, right? You go to sleep after the game's 32-0. Pollard just decides, okay, let's just pop a 25-yard run, right? Nobody's watching. There's probably 20 people watching this game, right? Saquon, he has 30 yards, just breaks an 18-yard run, gets us to 50. Nobody's watching this game at this point. But for us, this game could be 0-0, but he can still hit this, right? This whole game script, the same thing with your receptions there. It only takes a couple plays, right? And you don't even have to be watching the game. It's just I went to the bathroom. Oh, he caught a 50-yard pass, up and done, right? No matter how bad he's playing throughout the game, right? Kadarius Toney, that's a perfect example, right? You had the longest reception. That would have been an easy hit if he just catches the damn football. All those opportunities are right there, and all it takes is one play. And that's the best part about these, because on some of these, Steph Diggs, 6.5 catches? You're not catching. You have to be good throughout the whole game. Gabe Davis needs to be good for one play. He needs to beat one guy, have one busted coverage, and you have a dude who could chuck a ball a quarter mile, right? You throw that over a mountain, right? Like Napoleon Dynamite. So, it's just these spots, and you're the one who got me in on these. So, always love looking at these.
Yeah, the last thing I'll say too, kind of adding on to what you're saying at the end, is the beautiful thing about this is there's so many different outs. There's so many different ways that you can win. We can be completely wrong on our analysis, right? Stephon Diggs could have 14 receptions for 142 yards. And right when the safeties finally start taking it seriously, they finally bring the double teams, that's when you strike. And like I said, we don't even need a 40-yard pass right here. We need a 21-yard pass. That's a regular day for a guy like Gabe Davis right here. So I love how many different ways you can actually cash this kind of ticket.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Let's I think that's it. I don't think we're doing a touchdown one. Unless you want to do it. Unless you want
me to drop my second one real quick.
Oh yeah. I don't even have that up. I don't even have that.
Okay, I'm going Josh Allen over 6.5 rush attempts, -140 for half a unit right here. Little bit juicy, half a unit spot. But I did want to talk about it on the show right here. I texted it to you a little bit later. It was a separate message. You didn't see it right there. But I'm on Josh Allen rush yards. If you follow me on Twitter, that was one of the first plays I put out. And rush attempts wasn't available at the time. I want to get a little bit more exposure here just because we haven't talked about that angle, right? Josh Allen is a guy who was 5th in the league in designed runs last year for quarterbacks and 3rd in the league in total runs for quarterbacks. And what I love about this play is I think he could hit this prop without a single designed run. That's how much I like it, because what we've hinted at and what we've talked about this whole time is that this Jets D-line is very, very good, right? We obviously know they're anchored by that amazing defensive tackle unit they got in the middle. Now we're adding multiple first-round draft picks on the outside around them. Extreme amount of depth, right? This is a team that was number 1 in the league in QB hits last year and number 7 in sacks. So even if they weren't all the way at number 1 in sacks, you might look at 7, go, that's not impressive. They were getting to the quarterback. They just weren't actually converting on all those. That's what we need. We just need you to get to him. We need you to force him out the pocket. And in a game where I think he's going to have some trouble with this incredibly tough secondary, we're going to have to see Josh Allen rely on his own legs a lot in this game. What do we know about the red zone? What is the red zone playbook for the Bills? It is let Josh Allen carry the ball directly up the middle, and then we'll sprinkle in a fade to Stephon Diggs on the corner every once in a while. But for the most part, it is Josh Allen directly up the middle. I think he's going to be super aggressive in the red zone. I absolutely love Josh Allen rush attempts. Obviously, we have the kneel downs that you can take advantage of too at the end of the game, some different possibilities like that. But I just wanted to double down. If you follow me, you probably already know I love the rush yards, but I think this is a good opportunity to double up and get the rush attempts as well at a pretty reasonable price.
Yeah, no, I love it. I can't believe it's at 6.5. This doesn't make any sense to me at all. I do really like taking the under longest reception. You just got to hope he catches a pass, right?
What is it, though? What's the longest reception?
I don't know. 6?
I was going to say it's probably like 12, right? Like 11 or 12, maybe, something like that. That's what I have to guess. I'm surprised if that's even a line available to completely.
I didn't know. I didn't see it when I looked. Yeah, I don't. Longest reception. Randall Cobb, 12.5.
Nailed it.
Oh, frick. Holy shit. Dude, I don't think he caught 12.5 in like 3 years, bro. Man, damn.
Yeah.
That ain't bad look. I'm not mad at that. Definitely, that time was not looking at Randall Cobb props. I'll tell you that much. So, not a bad look there. Stu, we're at 40 minutes. Like I said, we're trying to keep this one a little bit shorter there. But you got 55 of you guys still in here. Thank you guys so much. Cash Bill, hope all is well, my friend. Appreciate you popping in here. We got Jay Raven, obviously a guy from Twitter. We see a lot of bringing up Rodgers' interception. Basically, before when a wide receiver goes left, when he should go to right. Yeah. He does that a lot. I'll tell you that. Not a bad look. He's just so good at just throwing the ball away. That's what I hate about Rodgers. If you're going to bet interceptions, right? And that's what's tough. I don't mind it though. I don't mind the Bills secondary. I mean, he might just be forcing some into Garrett Wilson as well because Allen Lazard is cheeks, and so is Randall Cobb, and so is all the dudes he brought from the Packers. So I don't mind it. It's just, yeah, he's going to be in guys that he's been with for a long time. Hackett's there, right? It's not like this is a new system at all to him. So I don't mind it. It's just, if it was him going strictly to an actual new team instead of like 50% of the old players, I might bet this a little bit more on that basis.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, Rodgers' interception, I think both quarterback interceptions is very solid in what could be a very kind of grimy defensive game. But like you said, Rodgers, it doesn't make kind of those, like, I would almost like Allen a little bit more just because we know Allen does love to try to force into those tight windows. Well, like you said, a guy like Aaron Rodgers is a little bit known for kind of just throwing the ball away, taking the next down. He's obviously got an incredibly high football IQ, which does kind of lead to a decrease in those turnovers. But hey, you got the national TV angle. You got two good defenses in a primetime game. I feel like I should be betting more interception props with the football I've been watching recently. So I really have nothing negative to say about this one.
Yeah, do not hate it at all. We got a couple Kincaid Homer here. He's going to eat tonight. Hopefully he does for you guys. Longest reception is still getting in my head here. Talking about Garrett Wilson, Diggs. Dude, I don't know, man. I feel like if I'm going to bet Diggs, I might as well bet him to go for 100, dude. I don't know if he's going to just sit at that 60. He's either going to cook or he's going to get cooked. So I don't know if I'm going to buy down on him.
Exactly. I feel the same kind of way, right? I think if Diggs is involved, it's one of those things where it's clearly the quarterback trying to get the wide receiver into the game. So he has like 4 screen passes, right? And does he break one of those screen passes? I don't know. Or are they all just, 5-yard gains and we don't get anything? I'm not sure. But for me, I kind of feel the same way. They're either forcing it to Diggs and trying to make something happen, whether it's because of this contract dispute or something like that, or he just kind of gets taken out of the game and I'm not interested. So I kind of feel the same way. I'd almost rather alt line up than alt line down right there.
Yeah, we have 2 questions actually revolving around the same guy. This will probably be the last one unless somebody gets another one in here soon. We have Aiden bringing up James Cook over 14.5 receiving. And we have Markel talking about over 2.5 receptions. I think I would do the yards before I do the amount of receptions. But I guess it depends on what you think the game script's going to be, right? It's going to be, do you think the Bills are going to be losing? If you do, James Cook's going to be in there a lot. It's just, I have to see what Damian Harris is to this team, right? That's what I need to see. And, right, that's why week one, usually everybody's throwing around 50 bets. But you look at them, they're betting superstars, right? They're betting the big names. You know what their role is. This is a tough spot because you don't know. You truly don't know. He's never been the one, right? Devin Singletary's always been there. It's been 1A, 1B. So is he only in there on passing downs? Is he in there for one series and then Damian Harris comes in there because they need him to block and help out? I don't know. That's why I can't bet any running backs in this spot. Maybe a Damian Harris touchdown because I'm a DGen like that.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling like the thing I should be doing more week one is trusting common sense, right? And does common sense tell me that an undersized running back in James Cook is suddenly going to be this 3-down back that people and, some people in the fantasy community are kind of begging him to be? It doesn't. And week one across the NFL shows us that coaches love using these, obviously we hate it in the fantasy community, the betting community. We don't like 3-4 running backs in a backfield, but coaches do. And I do think we're going to see Damian Harris early and often right here. I think he's the better between the tackles runner. It's just for me, do I see them having a lot of success running between the tackles against this Jets line? No, I don't. So do we see some more dump offs to kind of supplement that? Because what's the number one thing if you can't get the running game going, what do? You switch to the short passing game. You switch to the dump offs. You get your running backs involved in that kind of way. I do see that happening. So I like Cook for the receiving yards, but it's not a bet I'm kind of running to the window to make, right? When I kind of laid out my philosophy on this game, I think Kincaid is kind of who I targeted in that similar like check down. You want the guy over the middle. You want those quick developing routes. That's who I went to target, but I can see you kind of getting the same perspective and going to Cook as well. Cook is just super unproven to me, like you said, and I'm not sure I really trust the talent there, to be completely honest.
Yeah, he's quick, he's explosive. I would take the yards just because, like I said, only takes one play, especially when it's only at 12.5, right? 3 catches, I feel like they would make the adjustment a little bit on him a little bit more there. And obviously, you need him on the field for a lot more. I only need him on the field for one play to break that 12.5. I think we could see a lot of Damian Harris in this game and kind of bursting a lot of people's bubbles. Not me, though. I have a lot of Damian Harris in best ball this year. So, Stu, what do you got for the people here? We're at 47 minutes, a little longer than we usually go. So, we got 40 of you guys in here. What do you got for the people?
Yeah, I will say that just on what you – never mind. We'll just keep it moving right here. Make sure you go follow me over on Twitter at Monotone Football. If you can't tell, my brain's moving a little slow. I'm still fucking sick, but – I've been working through trying to put out all this content, and I'm very proud of it. I think last night's Sunday night show with Analytics Capper went very, very well. If you want to see my thoughts on all the major week 2 games, I talked about each and every one of them. If you heard what we said about the Jags Chiefs earlier, you want to argue with me, you want to agree with me, go over there. We already argued about it last night. So a lot of good stuff over there, a lot of good content coming out. Make sure you're following the Twitter. That's where all the content is going to be this year. And yeah, just make sure you're following along on Twitter. That's where I post everything. Pass the Prop Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Then you can catch me over on Sportstopia on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then on Odds Trader on Sunday night. So I'm everywhere this year. Super pumped to be talking football, and glad we finally got a Monday night show in the books, baby.
Yeah, no, like I said, year 3 already. It's wild, right? We got a lot of other things we're doing, but still, year 3, we're still cooking on the Pass the Prop here. So appreciate all you guys tuning in. We got 47 of you guys in here at 48 minutes. That's awesome. We're going to try and do noon every single time. Hopefully be a little bit more consistent on the timing. Obviously, life gets in the way a little bit, but hit that like button on the way out. Got a ton of plays out for you guys again. Looking to add on to that 2-2 start that we've got to. Just don't give me another one of those Chiefs games, man. I don't want that second half of that Chiefs game like crap like that. Give me a little bit spicy stuff here. Give me some action. Let's see a 70-yard first play Gabe Davis tutty. Then we're just chilling. Again, go crack one if you want. And you're just like, oh, I made my money. We're good. So thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys on Wednesday for another round of Pass the Prop NFL edition. And we'll see you then. Have a good one, guys, and best of luck tonight.